What's up, YouTube garden fiends? I'm the Sonoran Desert Grower. In this video, I'm going to show you how I deal with the Bermuda grass in my in-ground gardens. It takes off, it blows up, it takes over, but we're still able to grow massive amounts of food, and this is how I do it. In the beginning of my garden journey at my house, I was really in a war with the Bermuda grass, and I was trying to eradicate it, but that's not reality. It's going to keep coming back. I have figured out how to work with it so that we can still get a lot of produce from our in-ground gardens. The chickens are a huge part of helping us dig out the roots. We let them graze in our gardens when they're in this state. This is kind of the first step. I use my weed whacker and I take all of the grass down with the weed whacker. We then throw the chickens in there to eat the grass and scratch it around, and they're gonna take care of a lot of it. They love going in there. We don't harvest certain chickens that are very good workers. They become our pets, they get names, and they're going to be with us until they get old and die of old age. So that's kind of how we think about it now. We work with it, it becomes a resource instead of a problem. We feed our chickens with it as a grazing option for them, and the chickens that get fed with it are the ones that are good workers. They like to stay in that spot with all the grass and they attack it. Some chickens, when you put them in here, they are not interested at all and they'll start exploring other areas of the yard. And those are not the chickens that we use for working our gardens, right? Found one of your arrows. I found another of your arrows. Um, Take it into the chicken coop, baby. Put it in one of the compost piles. No, in the chicken coop. This goes to the chickens first. Okay? Put it in one of the compost piles. Yeah, just take them down like that. It can be incredibly overwhelming to work on your garden and get it ready for planting when it looks like this. When it's totally overgrown with Bermuda grass, um, it's important to not get discouraged. It is totally possible, it is totally manageable, and it is a lot of labor, but in my opinion, it's worth it. We're growing hundreds of pounds of fresh fruits and vegetables in our rainwater harvesting in-ground gardens. And because we are harvesting the rainwater, because we did plant the rain at the very beginning, we didn't just go out there and install a garden and then later on decide, oh, we should harvest rainwater. We did it the other way around. We decided right away that we wanted to have a garden, but we were gonna plant the rain first. And it's a big deal because it actually helps decrease the amount of tap water we need to use. So that's why we're committed to having large in-ground gardens because it is the best way to grow a lot of food with a lot less water. Okay, I just finished weed whacking this garden. It is ready for chickens. I'm gonna move over to our Greywater Basin where we have our medicinal herbs. We have rosemary, we have estafiate, aka Western mugwort, and a wolfberry in there. And this one gets the worst with the Bermuda grass. It's a pretty deep basin, and the garden to the right of it, the large garden to the right of it that's connected to the roof, overflows into this basin. And I've only seen it overflow one time in like 14 years. So it's very, very rare that that happens, but it is set up for it to accept the water from our large garden if it ever overflows. I'm going to show you footage of this Greywater Basin. in the springtime when it's full of life and it has all kinds of butterflies in it. Also, I'm gonna show you another video of this general area when we had the kids' playground in our garden. We filled it with wood chips because the kids needed a playground, and once they outgrew the playground, we took the playground out and we started our garden again in that area, and the soil was amazing. You can see some wolfberries in the back right there. Super delicious. This is an amazing plant. It brings in so many good pollinators into your yard. It just gets really huge. We planted this in a very small basin. You could just put just this in this basin. So that was kind of our mistake. It was when we first kind of started. All of the wolfberries I'd seen in nature were super small, but in a Greywater Basin, they get ginormous. A drawback of having the only lush native yard in the neighborhood, it means that you're gonna get a lot of wildlife. We get all kinds of birds, we get all kinds of rabbits, we have chickens, so that also brings the hawks around. So we have hawks hanging out in our yard all the time. And I'm talking about hanging out in the kids' playground on the steps, right? And just harvesting birds out of that wolfberry is just amazing. So this is kind of what it my life has been, right? We're like growing food, we're becoming part of the ecosystem. We have all kinds of wildlife. The desert is alive. It might seem like it's not, but it really, really is. If you start establishing relationships with these native plants, you're gonna see that it's vibrant, it's thriving. The basin that I'm working in now is another Greywater Basin that also harvests rainwater. The water that this basin is harvesting comes from our driveway. We split the water from the driveway mostly to come to this part of the yard. We've tried growing different flowering plants in here that are native, but they've all kind of died. The Bermuda grass kind of chokes them out. So we have to we the original plan for this basin was to grow a lot of flowers, make it super beautiful. You can see this from the street. The issue with that is that none of the plants that we put in as seedlings can survive the summer monsoons when the Bermuda grass takes over. So this year we're gonna try to put a fruit tree here. We're gonna put an apple tree, and that will be the third fruit tree that we have on the property. We let our chickens graze in this basin. That's why this bowl is here. The kids must have left it here one last summer, and I'm finding it beneath all this grass now. I hope this helps you grow in your yard, especially if you're dealing with a lot of weeds. Think of them as a resource. Let's do a lot of chop and drop. And the basins that get a lot of rainwater are going to be very difficult to make veggie basins. So this basin that I'm working in right now, this is going to be a fruit tree basin. We're trying to make it like a beautiful flowering garden, but it's not going to happen. So that's another lesson learned over years of working with this land is you have to work with the land. You have to go with the energy flow of the land. Um, I'm gonna be posting updates of our garden journey this season, so you're gonna see all of these basins filled with plants at some point. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more in-depth advanced tutorials, please join my Patreon. That's where I'm putting full-on workshops and the more advanced content, and a lot of it stays there, it doesn't make it to the YouTube channel.